is Dak and Dallas back? Is Philadelphia going to hang on to this division? Or are the Giants ready to supplant both teams and have Jacksonville on top? This is the NFC East division breakdown with Big Score Podcast. All right, guys. NFC East.
Couldn't keep a straight face.
This division's been this division has been interesting over the last 10 years. You know, this used to be the best division in football, and they kind of majority of these teams fell off, and really it's just been Philadelphia that's been good over the last 3-4 years. I know we had Washington come out a few years ago with Jaden, but they're kind of an irrelevancy now. I don't know. It's just a different division. We're going to start with Washington, actually, and with Jaden. I'm actually the highest on them. Y'all aren't very high on this team, and I don't disagree with y'all. I could easily see them going 7-10. They're just not. They're an old, sad football team with a bad head coach.
Yeah.
I don't know, Brad. You have them the worst, 7-10. You know, where are things landing for there?
Yeah. I don't have much faith in them. I think they got other, top dogs in that division. I think that they made the least amount of moves in the offseason as far as to make them competitive again. I think all their chips are on Jaden Daniels being healthy. And on top of that, the little, I don't know if you want to call it scandal or media issue with the number thing and the LSU deal, I just felt like, their franchise players' head is elsewhere when it should be getting back healthy, with his teammates in the preseason and getting back into the flow of things. They didn't really they brought in Chig Okonkwo for their tight end, which I think Jaden really does like the tight end, but Chig's overall unproven. I think he's going to have a decent year, but, that's not going to help them win 10-plus games. They did address the defense. They brought in edge rusher. They drafted Sonny Styles. But who's it? Dan Quinn, right? Still a freaking head coach over there. Like you said earlier, I think a good coordinator, just not head coach material. But a lot of their money spent was trying to address some defensive problems. The only issue is I think there's better defense in their own division than what they have. I just don't have much faith in him. I'm kind of like you. I can see him going anywhere from 7 wins to 10 wins, but I don't think either way that's going to be enough to win this division.
No, I agree. And retread head coaches with a losing record never work out. No. NFL GMs and owners need to listen. It never works out, ever. For every Bill Belichick, there is 10,000 terrible coaches that still get a second chance. I don't know, Dan. You got them starting.
I almost had them starting 0-8, and I stared at it and I said, "Can they really start 0-8?" And I said, "Yeah, they'll probably fire Dan Quinn at that point." But
yeah,
I really was back and forth on the Giants, and I figured maybe they'll get a win over the Giants. They don't have an 8-game losing streak to start the season, but that was tough for me to give them that win. Their defense should be fine. They're led by a defensive head coach. They're going to be competitive. I'm not a huge Jaden Daniels fan. Their offense, I feel like, has no one exciting. Like, I love Kerry McLaurin, but he's in his 30s, probably better suited as a wide receiver 2. Diggs, I like Diggs, probably better suited as like a wide receiver 3. Chig, you want him in your tight end room, but do you want him to be your main focus? We talked about Jaden Daniels liking to throw to tight ends. He may have a good year. He may show something. He showed some promise in Tennessee, but never really did much with that promise. Maybe it's unleashed, or maybe that's just who Chig is. Rashad White. Again, I like him. There's nobody, though, that, who's the go-to? Is it Terry at 32 years old? Is it Diggs at 33? I don't love the offense. Jaden, again, his head's not in the right spot right now. Their head coach is a D coordinator. The defense should be good. I just think they're an average team. I was leaning more towards that 7-10 range. I tried to get up to closer to 9 wins. They feel average. I don't see them being very special. Yeah, Jaden looked special a couple of years ago, but rookie coming in the league, he's quick. I don't think he gets back to that. So, yeah, very average record. And you see they win some games towards the end of the year, but look at the competition. They're winning again. They'll get some good wins, but to start the year, they're not going to start off hot. I don't see them getting into a rhythm at all to start the year.
No.
And I'm on board. I had them at 7-10, and I kind of adjusted some stuff in the NFC East to kind of change on kind of my gut feeling of how the division is going to work out this year. But I could easily see Dan Quinn being fired after the bye week. We could easily see a Dennis Allen style season coming out of Washington. I don't know why they hired him as their head coach. There was way better offensive coordinators available at the time of his hire. Yeah, he did have a great season to start out with, but go back and look how many games they won by one possession or less. How many games Jaden, miraculously pulled them out. Yeah, they got all the way into the playoffs, but that wasn't because of Dan Quinn. They're a 500 team. They can go 9-8. They can go 8-9, 7-10. I can't see them winning 10 games. I'll be shocked. It's just this isn't a good football team. Like you said, Dan, the offense is old and sad. The defense is a little bit old, although they did try to get a little younger on the defense. I'll give them that. They did put a little bit of effort this year with getting, drafting Styles and some of the other players.
I like that move for him too.
Yeah, it's just not going to be enough. And I think Jaden is this age is RG3. Sadly, I don't want to compare him to that. Yeah, running quarterback, throw the ball, blah blah blah, won the Heisman. But in reality, that's just his play style, and that's how he holds himself.
It's the same turf they're playing on. I mean,
yeah. Well, he doesn't go down. He's going to get hurt. He is a very thin, fragile quarterback. He's going to get hurt. He needs to learn how to get out of the way of those major hits, or he will not make it past his 5th year.
Yeah, no, his frame can't take it.
No, he can't. He is more talented. I will say he has more arm talent than RG3. So he does have that going for him. But yeah, it's just going to be a sad season in Washington. Speaking of sad seasons, the Giants. We all have them a little bit worse than Washington, although we went with Washington first to start this off. I have them at 7-10. I don't believe in Jackson Dart. I think we made that very clear on this podcast, at least myself. I don't believe in him. I don't understand what the Giants saw in him to draft him where they did. He is an erratic thrower. He throws off his back foot. He doesn't really read the defense very well. He's just not a good quarterback. I don't think John Harbaugh coming in is going to help him either. So, this is just not going to be a very good football team. I will say they've done a lot to try to stifle up that defense, mainly because they're going to lean on the run and try to take the game out of Jackson Dart's hands. But I don't think he'll let him, and they're going to be a 7-10 team, and he'll probably only play 13 or 14 games this season. I don't know, Dan. You have them at 6-11, worse than me. What did you see a little bit slightly different and giving them the worst record in the division? I think
the choice to go with Harbaugh again. Good head coach, the leader of men type of coach. Not a guru on either side of the ball. They have a good defense. They have a lot of talent on the defense. That's going to keep them in games. I have no faith in Dart. I don't think he's a good quarterback. If Neighbors is healthy, awesome. I'm a big fan of Malachi Fields. I think 2 great targets. I've talked about Isaiah Likely. Again, a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball. Their defense is great. Their offensive line, if it can be good or decent. Love Scatterbo. He's insane. A really fun runner. I like that old school style of running back. They brought in Najee Harris, who I was a fan of. I know I liked him even not last year. Like, he really played last year. He got hurt. Going into the Chargers last year, I was excited for him. Just to go do something. I thought he was a talented enough running back that he shouldn't be falling out the league. So I'm glad he's given a chance, even if it's coming in to just give Scatterbo a chance to not run his head into somebody for a play. They have pieces on the offense. Their defense should be good. I think Dart is holding this team back. He'll win some games. He's going to have some miraculous throws, some wow throws that excites everybody. And then you're like, oh, yeah, but for the most part, he's not good. Similar to Caleb Williams. And sadly, I think it's going to be a Cam Ward type of player as well. Just not NFL starter caliber type of player. If you want to consider him like a Will Levis. I love Will Levis. I don't want him starting on my team.
No.
The Jets can take a chance on him, but I think that's what the Giants have right now is that.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to be make a playoff push, everybody thinks they're kind of on the cusp. Maybe they would be if they had a different quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brad, you got them pretty streaky over there at 7-10, looking at the way you set their schedule up.
Yeah. I don't know. The way I view it is like I agree with that. John Harbaugh, good coach, but he's been carried, I think, a lot by one when he got there early, the Ravens defense, and then Lamar coming in and splashing on the scene, I think helped also carry him, but he's never developed offensive talent, in my opinion. He's always been carried by a strong defense. I don't want to repeat myself, but that's how I just feel. And then their main players, like you just said, Dart and Scatterboo, those two guys that give the team feeds off of their energy and whatnot. The problem is they play for Big Blue, but they live in the Big Blue tent. They go there all the time, and sooner or later, I know Jackson Dart, I think played 14 games last year. He was in the tent 5 times, or 5 different games. He was in the blue tent. Sooner or later, you're playing in the NFL with some big boys with some big speed, and it's going to go south where you're not going to come out that blue tent. You're going to be down for a while, and that's going to hurt him.
He's tough, but he's going to keep trying to come back out. But
I know
I'm not going to be able to.
Well, yeah, and I mean his style of play is reckless. I guess that's the best way to put it. He can make some splash plays, but he also, like you said, doesn't know when to get down. He'll try to get that extra yard, but he's going to take that hit coming from that linebacker beaming in on him instead of just, dashing out of bounds before he makes contact with him. But I do see him being streaky. There is too much talent on that team to not win games. I think the past 3 years straight, they've drafted a defensive lineman / pass rusher that was high profile, like top 10 picks. Each of the last 3 years, I believe.
One they traded for Brian Burns, but the other 2 years.
Brian Burns, okay. I'm sorry. But the other 2 years they drafted guys that were considered maybe like the top pass rushers, in the draft or coming out of that draft class. But I don't know. I don't see him contending with the other 2 guys. I think Harbaugh is going to try to turn that program around. It's just not going to happen this year.
Yep. No, I agree. It's just a streaky team with a quarterback that's injured, is going to be injured a lot. Speaking of injured quarterbacks, Dallas. I'm high on Dallas. I'm much higher than y'all two, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't know, Brad. 9-8. We'll start with you. You got them starting pretty good, 4-1, but then over the next 5, not doing too great. What was and then obviously ending the season pretty rough. How'd you get there?
Until they show me something different, I think their MO has been the same since the 90s. The late 90s. They're great.
You're right.
They were great in the first 2 months of the season. Everybody's like, it's our year. And then the winter months start setting in, and it's time to freaking put up or shut up. And they never seem to be able to put it together. Plus, their back half of the season is a gauntlet outside of like the Giants and the Commanders game at the end of the year. I mean, you're playing Eagles, Seahawks, Rams, Jags, those 4 teams. When it matters most, that's when the Cowboys can never seem to perform. And they play all playoff teams to make those decisions. And then to finish out, you got the division games, which I have them split because usually at the end of the season, I think that those type of games are going to happen. They have a high-powered offense. They've made the right moves on paper as far as trying to address the defense. So if their defense is middle of the road, technically they should be, a double-digit win team. But I'm kind of like in that point where it's like they've always had talent. I need him to see him actually do something with it. So
yeah,
I'm with
no,
you
yeah,
on that.
definitely 10-7, Dan.
Yeah, so end of the season. Again, I have them going 2-4. Just like Brad has different games there. Maybe they steal one against the Seahawks, but then they can drop one to the Giants. Divisional game, but still end the season 2-4. Not how they want to end the season. I do have them starting off, or at least the middle of the season. I know Brad has them dropping a couple. I think it's still early enough in the year. We'll see that offense clicking. They're going to put up a lot of points. The defense, like we just talked about, made the right moves on paper. I think they should have a good enough defense to help them win the games, especially in that middle part of the year against some other good teams. But it feels like they're going to drop off towards the end of the season. We'll see if the offense can keep up all year long. If the defense, all those moves are going to pan out towards the end of the year. Starting off 2-5, so not the best way to start out, but, back and forth. Yeah, they're dropping one against the Giants to start the year. Maybe they don't do that. But, again, I think the Giants could come out and win one early. So just start Dallas off on the wrong foot. They'll have a strong middle of the year and then, again, fall off towards the end. So I think they're a double-digit team, double-digit win team, but it might cost them. I don't see them – spoiler, I don't see them winning the division. We'll talk about the Eagles next. But just a little bit above average. Like they should be. They have a good offense. Just we'll see what the defense can do.
Yeah, no, I have them. I have them 11-6, and yeah, we'll see how the rest of this division falls out. But they're going to start off a little bit weak, going 3-3, and they're going to finish the season a little bit weak. But I think that middle section right there between week 7 and week 12 is what's going to make their season great. They're playing a good amount of bad teams in that little stretch right there. And I think that's where they're going to take advantage and separate themselves from the rest of this division. I think Dak is going to come back this year, second season with Pickens, ability to get things set up with that offense. Javante's there for the second year. I think that offense is going to be a top 10 offense in the league. They're going to put points up, and I think that'll help out their defense. Yes, and I agree. Their defense did make a lot of moves on defense this year to try to help out, bring that team back up to an average defense. And I think that's all they'll need to get to 11-6. And I think 11-6 is going to be good enough to make the playoffs in my breakdowns. Obviously, ending the season a little bit rough, but I mean, look at that gauntlet. I even almost had them losing to the Jaguars, but I gave them that win there. I couldn't see them losing 3 in a row with a bye week in between. But Seattle and the Rams with a bye week, that's hard. I could easily see them finishing 10-7, like you said, Dan, and actually almost mirroring your end of the season. But if they do end up losing that Jags game, I think they beat the Commanders at the end of the season. I think the reason why I gave them that loss against the Commanders is because they already have the division clinched at that point. So with that being said, we're going to go to Philly, where I disagree with y'all.
You're wrong.
I personally think this is the year that the Sirianni wheels finally come off the train. They got rid of AJ Brown.
Terrible.
I agree. They shouldn't have got rid of their best receiver on the team. It's a stab at Devontae. They tried to replace him.
He was the best receiver, but it ain't like Devontae's a drop off. Come on.
No, you're right. But they did try to replace AJ Brown with a lemon, a legit lemon, not just his last name.
That's right.
No, but in reality, AJ Brown was disappointed with that team. He had issues with the quarterback. He had issues with the offense. Yeah, they did do some stuff to try to change that offense, but I still don't believe in Sirianni. He should have been fired in 24. He got lucky and got that team on a roll, and they won the Super Bowl. But they should have lost against the Saints. They should have lost and started 1-3 that season. He should have been fired probably mid-season that year. And honestly, Kellen Moore may be the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles if that would have happened. But it didn't. They won the Super Bowl. Good for him. I still don't think he's a good head coach, and I think eventually the wheels will fall off. You can only half-ass your way to so many championships. I went this year. I will say I had them at 10-7, and I changed it to 8-9 because I think that this is the year again where they fall off. But I don't know. You two have them winning the division, obviously. So I don't know, Dan. 12-5. That feels a little bit high in my opinion. I mean, 11-6 last year.
Is not a good head coach. Saquon is a really good running back. Their offensive line is really good. Their receiver, they don't have A.J. Brown anymore, but Devonta Smith is, I think, going to show that he is a top, near our top 10 receiver in the league. Dontavian Wicks, again, just a good role player. Probably not one as your wide receiver, but I got Eli Stowers. I don't think they're going to use him a ton early on in the season, but he should be a really good tight end, and their defense is phenomenal.
I agree with that.
He doesn't have to be a good head coach. They have a really good team. The coach can be carried by the team in this situation. He doesn't have to set the culture. The fans will do that. I think their team is.
But what happens when that defense, who has a lot of hotheads on that side, decide to start acting up?
They have a lot of
things like that.
There's so many of them. You can suspend 3 of them, and they're still a good defense. You can probably lose 2 offensive linemen as well, and they'll still be a good offensive line. The team is deep. They're probably the deepest
I do agree.
Feels. Even if Hurts isn't the best quarterback in the world, he's not a bad quarterback. And it also seems like their backups every year can come in and win some games as well. Anybody on this team can miss a game. Everybody on the team can miss a game, and they could probably still win the game. That's how deep the Eagles feel. When they lose, it'll be because they're beating themselves up, or I don't even know why they would lose a game. I feel that they are that good. They can compete with the Rams as one of the most talented teams in the league. Their losses it feels more like them beating themselves up or a mistake that they will make. If you look at their, who I have lost against, one against the Giants. But everybody else is playoff caliber teams or teams that we're really high on. They're not going to go drop, games to a ton of bad teams. This team is just really freaking good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Brad, are you that confident? Dan's out here pumping his chest for him.
I hate the Eagles, but they're good.
They are a good team. I don't believe in Sirianni, but I think they might get back to not being cute and pound the ball with Saquon, which is what got him to the Super Bowl anyway. The less you ask of Hurts, the better. And I'm not saying Hurts is god awful, but he's not great. He's not going to go out there and win you the game, but he's also not going to make stupid mistakes either. But I don't know. I don't think he's gonna. He's not gonna go out there and be a 4 interception guy. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
He's not gonna lose you the game like that. But the loss of AJ Brown, I don't think's super critical because of how deep they are. But if they don't perform as an offense, there was locker room issues with AJ Brown there. If they have offensive struggles without AJ Brown there, there's going to be locker room issues because the media is going to make it a situation. So they have to make sure that this team is rolling on offense. And I think the only way to do that is to freaking give Saquon the ball 350 times. So it's going to run through him, their running game. If their offensive line stays healthy, they're going to be fine. They are a good offensive line, but their anchor, in my opinion, which was Kelsey, he's gone. Now it's Lane Johnson. He had some injury issues last year. I think that's going to he's getting up in age. So as long as that line can stay healthy and Saquon's back there, they need to give him the ball 20-plus times a game without question. I don't care what the score is. But like you said, as far as their defense goes, their defensive line is one of the best in the league. So I don't have any issues with the defensive side of the ball. If you get a pass rush, it makes up for everything. If you can stop the run and you can rush the passer, it's gonna make everybody else look great. But I do still think the division goes through them. They're too deep and too good not to have that to fall off that hard just yet. But if they do struggle, that bye week is week 10. I do agree with you. If they struggle, that city, the fan base, and the media is going to be coming down on Sirianni's neck. Because there's a lot of controversy around him as a coach, and he's been in the media too for, kind of acting unmature sometimes. So we'll see what happens when it gets to that point. But I still see them being on top of the division when it's all said and done.
No, and yeah, circling with the division right there. Yeah, obviously, y'all two have them up there, and I don't disagree. They're a talented defensive team. I think the locker room issues and the terrible head coach is going to do them in this season.
No.
I think this is finally Dallas's year. I don't think this is they're going to win the Super Bowl by any means, but I think they finally get to go back to the playoffs, and we get to see them lose sadly and horribly in the playoffs, which would be nice entertainment for the fans of anti-Cowboy fans. But yeah, this division is typically one of the better divisions in the NFL, and I mean Brad has them pretty close together, but myself as well. But Dan, you obviously have the Giants a little bit worse, but. We kind of everywhere
close.
on this. This is one of the first divisions that we don't all agree.
Yeah, I agree, but it's one of them divisions where it's like we can see. I can see any of these teams flipping spots, like from top to bottom. You know, we've seen Washington do it before. I don't know. We've seen Washington do it before when Jaden's healthy. If Jaden's healthy,
yeah,
he's the best quarterback in the division. So,
ooh, spicy.
Yeah,
better than Dak. Dak's a good quarterback.
Dak's okay. Dak's always had talent around him and a good offensive line.
That is true too.
So, you know, but Dak's also never performed when the lights were the brightest either. So
that is true.
So I mean, I think if Jaden's healthy, yeah, I put the stamp on it. He's the best QB in the division. But his team overall is the worst in the division.
Old and sad.
Yep. So we'll see how it goes at the end of the thing. But Philadelphia's a hard place to play. I still think it runs through them unless, like you said, if the locker room issues can derail that whole situation pretty quickly.
Yeah, Dan, any final thoughts on your 12-5?
No. I mean, I think the Eagles are they're a good team, despite the coach. I mean, again, like y'all just talked about, some of these teams can switch spots. The Commanders could be better. They could be worse. The Giants, if Jackson Dart is someone that we don't believe he is, but the media seems to believe he is, they could be a 12-win team. They could be a surprise team going deep into the playoffs. I don't see it, but some other people might think so, and maybe he is it. I don't think any team should be bad. Like, no team should be less than 5 wins unless there's some serious injuries. But, if everybody's healthy, I think the Eagles still run it.
How long can they run Saquon for? I mean, he's getting up there too. Or is he going to be Derrick Henry like?
He's Henry.
I don't know if he's
run him.
I don't know, man. I don't know if he can handle that many carries multiple years in a row. The wheels are going to come off eventually. He had some injuries in his career.
And he bounced back.
No, 100%. But he does get hurt.
Yeah.
And he'll bounce back.
That's 2027's problem, not this year. That's about 26. No, I understand what you mean. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, this year he'll be healthy this year. Give him the ball 350 times, like Brad said.
If Saquon gets hurt early in the season,
you throw it away.
My record is more realistic than y'all's.
I agree with you 100% on that. It runs through him.
It really
does. Tank Bigsby, everybody's darling.
Who?
Advanced
exactly. Who?
Everybody that talks about Kyle Monangai being the advanced statistics running back, Tank Bigsby was that as well. So all the doubters out there, hey, Saquon goes down. There's your darling. I don't like him, but
that's going to be the same situation. That situation reminds me of like San Francisco a couple of years ago. Yeah, they got a good running back. Their offensive line's great, but how much better does it look when we put a prime running back behind those guys?
Yeah,
that's where the difference is going to be. It's like, if Tank Bigsby featured, he might be able to get 1,100, 1,200 yards in a season, but you put Saquon back there, it's 2,000. So,
yeah. Well, Cowboy fans, I gave y'all a bite. 11-6. They win the division. These guys are hating on y'all. I'll give it to you. They win the division, but you're going to lose in the playoffs. Horrible. All right, NFC East division. That kind of wraps this one up.
Yes,
we only got 2 more divisions left, guys. Coming to the end of our predictions, and we get into the playoffs. So if you like what you heard, please stick around, like and subscribe, and we'll see y'all next time.